It's an industry that is the need of the hour for absolutely anybody. I think if you can be a sports physio, you can be a physio in anything. Small time academies and clubs in a city or a town, from those small time clubs and cities all the way up to you're talking IPL and ISL.
For our second podcast, we had as our guest Dr. Kruti Khemani. She's a renowned sports physiotherapist, currently running a private practice going by the name Continuum Physiotherapy, which has branches across Mumbai.
Ma'am, firstly, how did you come up with the name Continuum Physiotherapy? Because it is something new we have heard.
Yes, so as we know, the dictionary meaning of continuum is a journey, right? The time continuum and stuff like that. But the whole idea of continuum is life has to go on. So the journey from injury to recovery, and it doesn't stop there. Then there's something else. So life goes on that way. And our job as physios is to make sure life goes on. So nobody has to stop living. So I think for a year and a half over this name. And then I decided on it.
Everyone thinks studying is a hard part, but deciding the name is also
Oh
equally
my
hard.
goodness, very hard. Yes.
And ma'am, how did you come with, why did you choose physiotherapy as a career option? Because now physiotherapy is in high demand, but that time...
The first question that comes.
So back 20 years ago, in 1998, there was only medicine, MBBS, dentistry, and then physio, Ayurveda, OT, speech was all like bacha kucha, seat tha to le liya. So I think luckily for me, a friend of my mother's was a physio, and she had a small clinic in her garage in Juhu itself where I lived, and I went to see it before I chose it. Then when it was time for, and CET was, mine was the first batch for CET back then. So we had no clue how this whole thing works. So CET, even though I had fabulous marks in 12th, null and void, I had to rely on CET, and based on CET, I was only getting dentistry and physio. So I think I was meant to take physio. I don't think I could have done dentistry. I can't look in people's mouths all my life. And so I just chose it honestly, purely based on whatever little I knew about physio. Because I knew A, I needed strength and I was strong. B, I knew I wanted to help people. So yes, the industry helps people. And C, it was something easy. And I'm being honest here, easier than MBBS. So I said, okay, this is manageable. But I'm glad I did. It's the best decision ever.
And why do you say it is the best decision of your life?
Number one, we can't kill anybody with physio. Right? So we have, it's very safe. So even if we have room to make errors, and when you're learning, you need that room to make errors. So it's very easy for you to master the art of being a physio in whatever field you want to create your niche in. By learning as you go, in the path of learning, by creating, making mistakes is fine, because like I said, we don't kill anyone. The worst we'll do is we'll aggravate someone's pain. Own up to that mistake, learn from it, improvise. We don't kill anyone, right? So it's amazing. Unlike surgeons or doctors, sadly, poor things. But yeah. And second, it's an industry that is the need of the hour for absolutely anybody. From a 5-year-old, or rather a newborn, all the way up to a 95-year-old. Tell me one human being that we can't treat or we shouldn't treat. So we have an entire human race as our clientele. What better than that? People's aches and pains are our bread and butter. So we have so much work. That's good that you said there's 50 to 100 students coming out of college, because there is going to be work if you're good and well intended. There's work everywhere, any part of the world. So the beauty of physio is that we have enough work. We'll never be jobless, never.
And ma'am, why did you to do master in sports?
See, musculoskeletal was my first love. I realized in second year itself, third year, and then coming towards internship, I got a lot of small jobs while studying in Pune, where I was, where I managed to be a part of a football academy, managed to go for a camp with them. And I realized that I have that quality that it takes to be on field. I have the quality to, be a sole worker. I don't need a whole team with me. I can work alone and I can work with a team. And I felt that this was new and not many girls were choosing it. So when I came back after finishing the course to Bombay, Nanavati had a lot of sports work, so I managed to be with a football team, and this was post-bachelor's, and that was fabulous because, you know, back in 2005, for a girl to be a part of a male football team was very uncommon. So they covered it in papers and all, and I thought, wow, this is exciting. Like, you know, you get the limelight. Jokes apart, that was different, but it sounded like this is something I want to get better at. And so what was the option back then was only masters. Now, even in masters in India back then, we only had two, Manipal and GNDU. And I didn't want to go to either of those places. So my parents were very kind enough to say, you can go overseas and do it. And they were very hell-bent on US, and I said no. I said, I want to look at a place which is the shortest possible course so I can come back. So I found and looked at the shortest possible course, which was in Australia, which was 1 year. 2 semesters, 4 months, done. And I left for that course. But anyway, destiny had something else. I settled down there.
I have one question, but before that, I would like to. Sports is a very new, relatively new position in physiotherapy. So, if you could highlight on what exactly a sports physiotherapist does, so that would be helpful.
You know, I think if you can be a sports physio, you can be a physio in anything. Because the idea of sports physio is to get an athlete or a sportsman, woman back to their sport if they're injured, or to enhance their performance. So it's very easy for a sports physio to work in any industry because they've gotten that person back to what they want to be with their skills. So if tomorrow an actress wants to get back to acting, I can get her back to acting. If a homemaker wants to get back to home cleaning, I can get her back to that. So the idea of sports is, as a sports physio, you are required to not just reduce their pain, but the main agenda is to get them back to their sport. So there's no chance of you leaving the job half done. You will have to complete the full rehab circle with people. So as a sports physio, if you're good at that, you will be good at any age group in physio. You can work anywhere you want and you'll never miss out on things because you know you have to finish the full circle. Right? Because when back in the olden days, if I can say, we were taught reduce people's pain. And that's all we were given. We were given the diagnosis on a piece of paper. We were told put ABC machines. We were told teach ABC exercises, and we did it like technicians. Those days are gone. We don't need a diagnosis. We don't need machines. We don't need which exercises are to be done to be told to us because we have the brain to decide
2.0.
which ones to do. We know it, right? So the beauty of sports physio is that as a sports physio, if you want to pick sport, the only one difference being a sports physio versus a non-sports physio is if you're not somebody who likes to be out and about outdoors, if you're not somebody who likes to be working all alone by themselves with a whole team of people, with too many around you, if you're not somebody who's very quick at decision making, and that's fine, it's very personality driven. You're not somebody who likes to take risks. You're very slow, steady and safe. Maybe sports might be too fast paced for you as a physio, and that's fine, right? We're not all designed to be everything. I can't be a pediatric physio, for God's sake. I can't be a neurophysio. So everybody is good at something. You'll find out your niche after the first 1 or 2 years of working somewhere. So as a sports physio, I think it takes a certain personality and I think the love for sport as well. Not that I am a sports player much. I loved my short put, javelin, anything to do with power, tug of war. But I didn't play a lot of athletic stuff. But yes, I was, by birth, pretty strong with my hands. So I thought, okay, that is a definite requirement as a sports physio. You have to be physically strong. So that helped.
And ma'am, in India, what is the average salary a sports physiotherapist can get?
It's wide range, yeah, unfortunately. So it's the reason I say this is now because sports physios are being hired at, let me start ground level. So at your small time academies and clubs in a city or a town, from those small time clubs and cities all the way up to you're talking IPL and ISL. So now in between there are levels. So like say for example, if you're working in a small time club, you can expect a monthly 20-25 depending on your experience. Going on to say a clinical setting like mine, And if you're working as a consultant with Continuum, again, because you're a consultant, you're not on salary. At least Continuum is not about salary. We're about percentages and growing your numbers. So again, averaged out to between 35 to 50 to 60 tops if you're really good at keeping yourself busy. Moving on to, say, a team. It could be state, it could be Sports Authority of India, it could be private academies. Now, as you know, we're tied up with, say, Corvus, which is a school, or there is clubs, academies in Bangalore, in Chennai and Hyderabad, which are sports academies where they have in-house. You live there, you work there. They can range from, again, 60 to 80. Sai used to pay really poorly. They've gotten better. Again, from the last I hear is between 60 to 80. Which is wrong, because at that level it should be 1+. So let's start demanding that. And of course then you go on to ISL and IPL, that again very varies. There are assistants and head physios. Assistants start at, say, 50 to move on to 60. Head physios get anywhere 1+. IPL, I have no clue and I'm not interested. But I'm sure IPL is the topmost, so you can expect a 1+ a month minimum. But it's hard work, of course.
Ma'am, why do you think till now in the national sports, usually the physios are from outside India? The assistant can be from India, but usually the head coaches are from outside India. Why is it so till now?
It's our fault. We didn't prove ourselves. Right? If we prove ourselves that we're equally good and we have the guts to stand in front of those outside physios, now interview us together, why would you think they won't choose us? We have Modi backing us now. So no, it's time. Times are changing. I think IPL finally has, not IPL, but Indian team finally has an Indian physio. A lot of the ISL teams have Indian physios as well. It's changing, but it's there. There are certain levels where the Indian physios who were overseas have come back. So I didn't get into teams purely because I'm a mother of 2 young kids. Otherwise, I would be very happy to go back if I didn't have a family to look after and clinics to look after. But I gave up on that dream of mine after coming back. A, age, B, responsibilities. But if there are people like us, say for example, if you had my level of experience and you had no other responsibility, wouldn't you definitely apply? So it's very easy. When you go, you come back and apply. So I've told all my physios that have gone overseas, I'm like, you bloody well come back and start taking up these roles. They're like, yes ma'am, we'll come back and take it. So there will be. Now it's our time. It's our time. The days are gone where outsiders will come.
Yeah. And ma'am, you just mentioned you are a mother of 2, so you have to balance both your personal life and your professional life. So how are you able to manage? Because now only we are not able to manage our college life.
I color my hair. So I think if you love something so much, you try and do anyhow. You go with the flow. But I think the only way I can manage is because I have a family with me. So I have in-laws, I have my parents. So that support system is required. And that was the other reason I came back. I didn't have that over there.
One question we missed before, I would say, or many people say that sports, as you mentioned before some time ago, that sports physiotherapy is a male-dominated profession.
Yeah.
So when you entered there, I'm sure you must have faced your own set of problems.
Yeah.
So could you highlight a few of them?
You mean back in 2005?
Yeah.
0 problems.
Any problems?
No. So I'll tell you, times have changed thanks to, I think, the Me Too movement. Okay, no problems. 2005 was a dream walk for me. They would look after me like a sister or a child. The coach was fabulous. Bimal Ghosh, his name was. I was with the Air India football team, adult team. So that back then there was no ISL, it was I-League. So Mahindra, Mohun Bagan, all of those were playing. So Air India, I was a part of Air India. But they were fabulous, to the point where I remember an incident where we were at Salt Lake in Calcutta and Air India won against East Bengal or Mohun Bagan, which is their home ground. So they cannot take it. For them, football is life. And if somebody else wins on their ground and goes, how dare? So we had stones pelted on our bus. So these guys all surrounded and kept me in the middle and said, don't worry, you'll be fine. To that point. So they were fabulous. There was no hesitancy. They were very comfortable. Of course, as a physio and as a female physio, you have to make them feel comfortable. So I think it's a personality. You know, if you're your delicate, expensive self, oh, I am something, I'm a little delicate. No, it's not going to work. You have to be your solid and out there and loud, and make them feel like I am here for work and that's about it. I'm not interested in anything else. Then it's fine. It was fine. Back then, there was no many, negative experiences that I had. Come back now, I've come back since 5 years, and I tried with ISL, I'll be honest, I did try. But they were not interested in a female physio. One, because they're like, oh, logistically it's very hard. We don't have the budget to give you a separate room and everything. Second, they were like, no, ma'am, it's very bad. You don't know the players and how bad they are. And I'm like, that's everywhere. That's every industry. What's different in sport? Fine, they have a higher testosterone level, so be it. There are other girls for them. I mean, I'm just going to be there for my job. So I think it's a fight that a female physio will have to fight to prove, rather not even fight, she'll have to prove herself that test me out, try me out, then take me on board. So test my skills, give credit to my ability to manage the team, don't take a decision based on my gender. Right? So you have to prove yourself. Sadly, like every other industry, the lady physio will have to prove herself. And it will change. Like I said, the next 10 years for physio, and mark my words, you'll tell me in 10 years, is the golden period for physio. Because we are so many, we're all good, and there's enough work. So female physios will be picked up for sure. We just have to fight that battle of proving ourselves. That's all.
Ma'am, the next question comes as, now that you mentioned the next 10 years, how do you think were the past 10 years different, and how will the next 10 years be different compared to right now?
Again, awareness, no? You guys are creating the awareness. I am creating awareness. Our patients are themselves our biggest endorsements. If your patient is happy with you, clearly they will tell 5 other people. So use that as your biggest asset, and also your tool to move ahead. Prove it to your patient. What is it that you use me for? When do you call me? And what is it that we as physios can do to change your life? And that's going to help them take a decision. Oh yes, I'd rather go to the physio than anywhere else. So the next 10 years, the awareness is only going to grow. Things are only going to change for the better. Infrastructure is coming in, and pay scales have to rise. They have to rise. I mean, there's no option. They have to rise because we have to demand the rise, right? So we are demanding the rise because we are now, I don't know if you follow me, I mean, I start putting these videos now where I'm comparing that if you're paying a hairdresser, why not pay a physio? We are healthcare professionals. Is your hairdresser reducing your pain? Fabulous. No, we reduce your pain so you can sit on that hairdresser chair.
Now that you've explored both outside India and in India, what are the differences between the two?
You're asking, I'm the worst person.
And ma'am, what should we go for? Doing a master's in India or abroad?
I'm the worst person to ask. I bleed blue. I'm a true blue Indian. Okay, like if the Goras even mention anything negative about India, they had it. So I'm the wrong person to ask because I have a selfish ulterior motive to keep everybody in India. But I'll be unbiased and try and answer this. It is definitely good to be overseas because there's so much to learn. Also, it makes you a very versatile person because you adapt to other cultures. When you adapt to even it's simple as you moving from north of India to south of India. You adapt, you learn, you become more versatile. So going overseas is an absolute tick in the box for most of us to mainly gain the knowledge and experience. Now, living here or there, very different of course, and that's a very personal choice. But let me tell you now that I've seen, and this is not just Australia where I was, Australia, UK, US, New Zealand, Canada. The pay scales are obviously, if you compare in rupees to those dollars, of course it's more there. But if you compare dollars that physios earn and dollars that finance professionals, lawyers, dentists earn, we are still low.
Even there. So don't be cheated by the idea as, oh, my friend is earning like 10 lakhs a month versus me, I'm earning 50,000. That guy is earning 10 and he's spending 8. So if you earn in dollars, you spend in dollars also to live there. And like I said, I noticed now for 12 years when I lived there, my balance was still not as good as my friend's balance that was working in a bank or in
investment banking or whatever. We were still lower in a pay scale level. But yes, quality of life, of course, is better, more clean. But I wanted my family around, and I didn't have that. So I came back. As simple as I wanted my kids to grow up here, then they can go like I went when they're 18. And I wanted to bring the knowledge back. I really feel strongly about increasing our status, if that's the word, as an industry.
Not many people care about doing that. Once they're there, then they think, okay, bas.
Yeah, but like I said, I had the choice. I had the support from my husband, which is big. He was there for 15 years, poor guy, I got him back. And I had the support from my family, so I could do it. Everybody can't. So I wouldn't blame anyone. It's a personal choice, like I said. But the industry that I've seen grow, obviously I'm glad I came back, and I came at the right time. So it was a very personal decision. But yes, if you plan to go, by all means go, but go with an agenda. Don't go because 10 of my classmates are going. That's wrong. Just because half your batch is going, you don't have to go. Go with an agenda. Choose your country well. Find your tribe there.
Ma'am, how to choose the correct country, or which are the good colleges in abroad?
So sports, hands down Australia, hands down. I would not even think of US or UK for sport. Though UK is open arms right now because they need our money, let's be honest, sadly. But hands down, the Australian sporting system and the physio system and rehab knowledge is very good. And their research, it's very implementable. What they research and what they teach, you can actually implement in clinical practice. So hands down Australia for sports. Musculoskeletal, you can do US, UK. I don't know about Canada, to be honest, I have no clue. But yeah, I can tell you about sports for sure.
And ma'am, in India, which are the topmost colleges? As you mentioned, in your time only 2 were there in sports.
Oh gosh.
Right.
I think Manipal. And I'm basing this decision purely on the kind of physios I've interviewed from there versus other colleges. They have very good teachers, infrastructure. I don't know how much they implement because sports as a industry down south obviously is much higher. I know GNDU is also good, but I don't know honestly about the academic side of it and the experience side of it. So I won't comment on that. But I think from what I've seen, Manipal.
Ma'am, what is the difference in Indian academics and the academics?
We're still teaching old school stuff. We need to update all our curriculums. I don't know who's going to do that hard work. Not me, certainly. I can be a clinical educator. I can't teach in a classroom. But the entire system needs to completely revamp the curriculum. We're very behind. We're teaching stuff which you're never going to use.
Actually, while studying also, we think that are we going to use this?
So it's no point. But that starts right from school, darling. So it's not just about college. So our entire education system needs a revamp. I'm sure there'll be somebody like Modi who will come and do it. Everybody has to do one thing, no? So, yeah.
And ma'am, if I have a degree right now and I'm looking to open a clinic, so what are the things I should be looking for to open a sports clinic?
Experience first. Imagine you open something with zero experience, right? So please work somewhere, get some experience. Clinic खोलने के लिए बहुत time, and I'm sure you'll open by 110. But the point is, gain the experience, make patients want to see you as a physio. Because the day you open your door, friends and family will come, but who else? Right? So the day you open your door at a clinic, I was wrong there. That's why, I sort of took a bad business decision. I opened a very big place when I came back from Australia, thinking, I have enough contacts. But to fill that space, people didn't know me. It took me 3 years before the name happened. So minimum 2 to 3 years of work experience for sure.
What other than experience?
Money? Bombay is harsh.
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I came up with this a few days back. Only one of my friend who has got the degree, he was planning to get a loan or something and open a clinic. So what would you insist?
Again, like I said, if he's just finished, please ask him to wait. But if he still wants to go ahead with it, if you have your own space, nothing like it, because rentals in Bombay are very harsh. Sadly, I don't own any spaces, so all my spaces are on rent. And rentals, and also A sports clinic versus a normal clinic, very different. If you're a sports physio, you have to have a workout space. You can't do rehab in 2 rooms. Never. You can treat people, you can't make them work out. So a sports clinic needs space. A non-sporting clinic or a, say musculos, even MSK actually needs a little, cardio needs a little space for treadmills and stuff. A pure MSK clinic also should have at least some workout space to demonstrate exercise if they're not coming to you for workout, right? So anywhere give and take 700 to 1000 square foot is a good size. And please find out what the rentals for that are in Bombay. Depending on the area. So it all depends on where you're opening it, under whose guidance you're opening it, who are you relying on for your patients. I mean, for that matter, I will proudly say Continuum, we are purely word of mouth. We do not give a single penny of cut to anybody. Because unfortunately doing that, you are undermining your skill. The patient comes to you from somebody who's getting a cut from you is a very biased decision. They are coming because that person told them. They're not coming because they want to see you. So that's why I said for those 2-3 years, create your base so people want to come see you, right? Not anybody else. Even at Continuum, all my physios are told this. They should not come here for me. That's why none of the signboards have my name. They should come here for you.
Ma'am, how to build such a brand? What are the things? What was your vision back then?
My vision was to spread my way of working as much as I can in all parts of India. I am still only one step into it. There's still time. But it's not only about the brand, it's about the kind of work culture, right? So that the industry prospers. So if Continuum does good work, people know Continuum for its work, or say a practitioner there for its work, they will tell others, right? And they will also tell others that अरे ऑर्थो के पास क्यों जा रहे हो, ये काम तो फिजियो कर सकते हैं. Or why are you going to a trainer when you're in pain? First go to the physio, fix it, then go to the trainer. So this is the only way you can create the awareness about yourself, by doing your work and good work and ethical work. That's the other thing. We need to start becoming a little more ethical in the medical system here. Think of every patient coming in as if, what if that was my parent, or what if that was my sister or brother? Then you'll never go wrong.
Ma'am, we have one Instagram segment where we put a story on Instagram, and their questions are, we have the set of questions which they wanted to ask. So first is, I also have this question, what is the process to get in the national sports team?
Small steps. Start off with your local clubs, move on to your state levels, right? And from there you get picked up. Now, not to say if you're lucky and you have the contacts, you directly get in. So I had 2 physios with Continuum, where through my contacts, I placed them, one with ISL and one with, he didn't get in MCA through us, but he was with us when he got through MCA under 19 team. So if you've got the contacts and if there is a vacancy and they think of you, they'll pick you. Now, I'm going to be very brutal and answer this. The boys are very lucky. They get picked up very fast because I told you why. They don't want the girl physios. So they get picked up like this. So tomorrow you're out, you finish internship. Even within the first 6 months, don't be surprised if you get a call saying, hey, idhar vacancy hai. Yeah, so all the girls in the clinic hate you guys. They're like, ma'am, we've been waiting for 3 years. He just had 6 months of experience and you send him with ISL. What do? They wanted a boy.
Ma'am, in women's team also?
No. So women's team, unfortunately or fortunately, the budgets are still low. So they're not able to take a full-timer maybe. They call you on a contract basis when there is a peak season or a peak tournament happening. Unlike, say, throughout the year. So ideally now there should be contracts for women also. That should be throughout the year. That should be a proper full-time role on paper, which is still not happening from what I see. But then those freelancers there's 5-6 names if you know in sports physio and females. Those 5-6 names take up most of these positions that come. But they need to create more roles for the girls to get more roles.
So ma'am, the second question is, which sport has great future in sports physio?
Which sport has great future in sports physio? Every sport should have a great future in sports physio. Every freaking sport needs us. Tell me one sport that doesn't need us. Carol maybe.
Chess.
Chess. Yeah, like shoulders, neck, back. So yeah, every sport needs us. But of course, जिसमें पैसा है, उसमें jobs होंगे. Which is why ISL only, like football took so long. It's finally coming. Kabaddi's come, hockey's come, badminton of course, tennis. But racket sports obviously because they're individual. It's like the number of jobs created will be less. But still, all of them, absolutely all. But, squash has, table tennis unfortunately does not have the funding, but they need it so badly. We see a lot of national level players at Continuum at table tennis, but so sad. They're zero funded in anything. In fact, the state level ones are very bad. They said they have no facilities also. So there's no funding. That's the problem.
Every physiotherapist has a patient story to tell. One that story that stays with you forever. Do you have one, or more than one that you want to share?
Honestly, 18 years now. There's definitely more than one. But you're talking about like a good news story,
anything
or something that inspired.
Yes, that changed you as a therapist and that changed your patient's life as well. Something like that.
So I'll tell you when the whole shift in my work happened was obviously in Australia, where I went. So I had worked for 3 years before I went in India at Nanavati and also with Air India. And back then we were working like we were told, like I mentioned, the diagnosis was given, protocols was given, we would implement like technicians. No questions asked, no using brains pretty much. But we got people better. How? I don't know. We got people better. And of course, we were seeing a lot of Bollywood because Nanavati was full of them. So I saw all the Bollywood stars. I saw Shah Rukh Khan as well. Didn't wash my hands also. Anyway, so I used to think I'm the best physio in the world, man. I'm seeing Bollywood, I'm in Air India. Then I go to Australia and I sit through my classes and I start observing in clinics. And oh my God, that light bulb moment was, what the hell have I been doing? I have no clue how to think like a physio and how to approach the case as a physio. I had no clue. Like I said, we were doing it as a technician, mindlessly. Because why? Seniors said so, bosses said so, textbooks said so. The shift happened when I started observing physios working over there, and when I started to get my own jobs, where I was seeing that, wow, it's an algorithm. Physio treatment is an algorithm. You have to get information, download, process, and give out information out. That processor, that CPU only was switched off, which only switched on over there. So the whole shift in my practice happened when I realized we should be decision makers. We should be people to diagnose. We should be the people to plan treatment. And then it was liberation. You're unstoppable.
Yes.
So it's not really.
We still are in the first phase when we get.
This happened to me in my 6th year of work after bachelor's. So give yourself time.
3 pieces of advice you would like to give to all the physiotherapy students who are still in college right now.
Still in college.
Yeah.
Choose your jobs wisely when you finish. Work for minimum 2 to 3 years before you take a position where you take a decision, where you alone are taking a decision. So work under someone, with someone, or alongside somebody, but have a team around you. Don't work alone. That includes, so don't freelance only. Do both. Do a job and do freelancing, but have a team, have a tribe, have people that you discuss with and talk to. Don't work alone for the first 3 years at least. And work for the industry. You grow, industry grows. So slight selflessness is good. Because our industry needs it. Not society, industry. Society they were giving only. People were giving, we're helping. I'm talking as an industry. We need it. Right now, our industry needs all of us to hold hands. Right now, our industry needs all of us to create a noise together. So work for the industry.
So that was the video. A special thanks to Aditi and Vidhi for shooting this video. If you want us to make a video with your ideal, then let us know in the comments. We will definitely try to contact them.